guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I was in the mood to just kind of sit down and chat with you guys while I did my makeup, so I decided to do this kind of like really warm neutral eye that I've been wearing a ton lately. I've been wearing it in a lot of recent videos, and it's what I wore in all of my Toronto vlogs, and it is featuring the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. You guys really seem to be liking this look, so I thought I would recreate it and kind of walk through the steps. Before we jump into the makeup though, I wanted to ask you guys if you are interested in seeing more tutorials and more of these types of videos on my channel. I just feel like the tutorials on YouTube have changed so much recently, and it's all about like the cream contour and the glitter cut crease and like huge falsies, and I just feel like my makeup looks are like so simple in comparison. I haven't done any videos like this in a while because I'm just really not sure if you guys want to see them, so definitely comment down below and let me know if you want to see more of these videos in the future, and if there's any particular looks you want to see from me, that would really help me out as well. If you're interested in seeing how I do this look, then just go ahead and keep on watching. So of course I'm going to be starting off by applying face primer. I'm using the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Smooth Primer. This has just been my go-to lately. All my makeup is so dirty because I haven't unpacked since coming home from Toronto, so just excuse that, but I'm just going to take a little bit of this, and I like to focus this mostly in my T-zone because that's where I tend to have more noticeable pores. I do have a little bit of texture on my cheeks, but nothing too bad. So I'm just gonna gently rub that in. Then I like to go in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. I like to do anything I can to really just like brighten up my entire face and make myself look more awake. So I apply this really generously under my eyes, and then I just go ahead and start blending that out with my ring finger. I don't think I mentioned, but this is in the brightening shade. So lately on every single video I've been getting a ton of questions about what foundation I've been wearing, and it has seriously been the Kat Von D Lock It foundation in every video aside from the couple where I was testing out Milani. This is all I've been using lately, you guys. I absolutely love it. So I take about a pump and a half of this on the back of my hand, and since my skin isn't oily anymore, what I've been doing, as I mentioned recently, I've been taking the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer, and I add about a pump of this to it as well and mix it in. Not only does this add priming benefits to this foundation, but it also gives it more of a light reflecting kind of quality. I hated this primer when I was still producing oil because it was just a greasy mess, but now that my skin is more regular, it works really nicely. Like I said, I take about a pump of that as well, and I just kind of start to dab this all around my face. I'm just gonna start blending that out. My baby hairs are just like out of control lately. It's driving me nuts. I'll have my full first impressions on this foundation linked down below in case you missed it, but as you can see, the primer just gives it a slightly more glowy kind of finish, which is what I'm personally into, and applying it with the Beauty Blender also kind of lessens the heaviness of it. Also, all of the products that I am using in today's video will be linked in the down bar, and I'll have all the shades that I'm using and everything listed down there as well. But of course, next up is concealer. I've really been liking just like loading up on concealer recently. So I just do a very generous kind of triangle under my eyes. I'm using the NYX HD Concealer, and I just go in with my Beauty Blender once again and start blending that out. Once again, bringing it like right out up to my temples and down around the sides of my nose where I tend to get very red. And I make really cute faces while I do this. This concealer is a little bit creasy still, so I have to go in and like set it immediately. And then I just kind of take the excess and take that up on my lid. I try not to make any like facial expressions or anything, and I immediately go in with the NYX HD Finishing Powder on this little brush that I got in a Coastal Scents set. This is like the perfect brush for setting the eye area. It's just like the perfect shape, and it picks up the perfect amount of product. That looks a little bit crazy now because this eye is like super white. I'm just going to go ahead and do the exact same to the other eye. Alright, so then I'm going to go ahead and prime my lids. I'm just using the Tarte Clean Slate 360 Creaseless Eye Primer. This stuff is seriously underrated. Next time you need a new eye primer, try this one. It's seriously amazing. I'm not actually going to be doing my brows on camera, but I thought I would just show you guys this step anyways. Alright, so I'm gonna go quickly do my brows and I will be right back. I'm just not doing them on camera because I already have an eyebrow routine, and I figure, I mean, everyone's gonna do their brows the way they want to, so I will be right back in a second. Alright, so my brows are done. I used Anastasia Brow Wiz in Auburn. I went back to this because my hair is more red again, and then I just used Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I know a lot of people don't like the way I do my eyebrows, but I mean, I do, and that's what matters. So then I just take the NYX HD powder again, and I set my lids and my brow area with this as well. I just like to do this after I've done my brows because I do use a little bit of concealer around them. And then I just set the rest of my face as well. I'm just using the RCMA No Color Powder for this. I could have used this in my eye area too. I don't know why I didn't really. So I just take a little bit of this and just lightly tap it all over my face just to lock in my foundation. Alright, so now I'm going to do my eyes, so I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit so you can get a better view of what I'm doing. I feel like I do my face and everything kind of backwards. Like, let me know how you do it. Like, do you do like eyeshadow first and then foundation? Do you do like foundation and contour and everything? Or do you do foundation, eyes, back to face like I do? Let me know down below. Right, so I'm starting off with my Tarte Tartelette palette and a fluffy blending brush here. And I'm taking the shade Force of Nature, which is this one right here. I just always use this as my transition shade. You can use just whatever you have. And I just start blending this back and forth. You can skip this step and just use the shade from the Peanut Butter and Jelly palette if you want. I've done that before and it looks totally fine. But this is just kind of like habit for me. And I just blend like a crazy person, honestly. It looks a little bit crazy and a little bit patchy on camera at this point, but believe me, it all is going to turn out okay. So then I'm taking my Peanut Butter and Jelly palette, which is the star of this look, and I'm taking this shade here, which is called Peanut Butter, and I'm grabbing a slightly smaller kind of crease brush. And I'm just using this color to just really gradually start building up that crease and adding some more dimension. And seriously, between like every step, I just go back in with this really large fluffy blending brush and just continue to blend it out just for a really seamless look. I don't have any additional product on it. So then on a little flat shading brush, I take this shade here, which is called Peanut Butter Cup. This is just kind of like a deeper brown with a little bit of golden shimmer in it, and start packing this onto my lid. The shade does give me a little bit of glitter fallout, as you can probably see there, I'm sure, but it's really easy to just kind of like sweep off afterwards. So I just pat this on. Once again, I'm pretty messy with like everything I do. I'm not a professional makeup artist, I just do what works for me. So get that laid down all over the lid. I really like this look because I feel like I usually go for lighter colors all over the lid, so this is something a little bit different for me, and I really like how it turns out. Especially all the warm colors in this palette really just make my eye color pop. Once again, taking that big fluffy crease brush and just blending out the edge of that shadow. These shadows are extremely easy to blend, so you can really get a nice blended edge on that shadow. You don't have to worry too much when you're applying it if you're getting like harsh lines or anything. So then I'm going back in with this Peanut Butter shade on like a really small little kind of smudger brush, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this on my lower lash line. My concealer's a little bit creasy in there. I'll fix that in a second, so just ignore that. I'm taking the shade Nuts About You, which is the darkest matte shade in this palette, and I'm taking that on an even more precise little brush, and just like really, really lightly dipping my brush into this, and just using this on the outer part of my crease just to add a little bit more definition and make this look a little bit deeper. Really, really lightly, because I don't want this look to get too heavy or anything. I like my eyes to have a lot of like depth and dimensions. So then to clean everything up, I'm taking this matte vanilla shade called Extra Creamy. This shade is like really, really pigmented for an eyeshadow like this. Usually shadows like this are more sheer, so this one's really nice. And I'm just taking this on another clean little blending brush, and I'm just kind of like softening up the edge of all that shadow. Just because, like I said, things get a little bit messy when I'm doing all my blending. I find it tends to lose the kind of shape that I want. So I like to do this and then kind of blend again and redefine it. I know this seems kind of excessive, but when I'm like not talking through this and just doing it on my own, it's really fast, and I think the outcome is definitely worth it. I tend to go in a little bit too much in here, so I like to add it there for sure. So Then we're just doing one more quick blend just to ensure that my shadow has the shape that I want it to. And then finally on the same brush, I'm taking the shade Bananas, which is just a light kind of satiny gold. And I am just popping this into my inner corner, just a tiny little bit. You can also just use whatever face highlight you're going to be using as well. Alright, so now that the eyeshadow is done, I'm going to go ahead and do like my contouring and my bronzer and everything. I like to do mascara as my very, very last step. That's just what I always do. I like to do setting spray, and I feel like when I have mascara on sometimes, it just kind of like clumps up my lashes and gets kind of gross. So I don't know how much it's going to show up on camera, but you may have noticed that my face and my foundation is a little bit lighter than the rest of my body currently. I'm experimenting with self-tanners, and there's still just like a little bit left on my neck and chest. So I need to go in with some bronzer. I'm using the Marc Jacobs Omega today on a fluffy Real Techniques brush. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of that, and I just start to kind of lightly bronze the outer areas of my face. I like to bring it down on my cheeks like this. I think I mentioned this before, but it just helps when I go in and contour to just kind of blend everything out. So then I just go ahead and just kind of blend out the edges there. Then I'm taking my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Trio, and I am mixing together Dim Light and Radiant Light, and I'm just kind of dusting this along the center of my face as well. This just also helps to kind of match my foundation to my body and adds a bit more glow to my skin, and if I don't add a glow, my skin can end up looking quite dull throughout the day, I find. To contour, I'm using the Anastasia Contour Powder in Fawn. I have it in a little Tarte blush compact currently because this is a lot easier than bringing the big palette with me when I travel. So yeah, that's just what it looks like in there. And I'm using the Real Techniques contour brush. I absolutely love this brush. I'm just taking that in the hollows of my cheeks, blending upwards, just really light. I don't like a super dramatic contour recently. Just blend that up and out towards my temples. And I just bring a tiny little product in right here around my cheeks, since I do have fairly full apples of my cheeks, just because I find it a little bit more flattering than just like cutting the line off right there. But it's just like a tiny little bit of product. You don't want to overdo that if you are going to bring it in a little bit further. I just do a little bit along my hairline, sides of my nose, just very slightly, under my bottom lip, and then under my chin as well. Now time for my personal favorite, that is blush. I am using Benefit Rockateur. For this look, I really like the eyes to be the main focus, so I do something pretty neutral and just a little bit more subtle for the blush, really. It gives me a little bit of life to my cheeks without drawing any attention away from my eyes or lips or anything like that. A lot of people ask me my favorite blush brush. This is the MAC 129. It's like pretty much all I use for blush. I'm obsessed with it. Been using it since I was like 15. Now it's time for my actual highlight. I'm going to be using Becca Moonstone just down the very bridge of my nose and a little bit on the tip there. And then on the tops of my cheekbones as well. I just kind of bring it along here and kind of swipe it up towards my temple. And then a little bit just on my Cupid's bow as well. I really love this highlight. I think it's just perfection. And then to set everything completely, I am using my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I raved about this so many times on my channel, but I use it to set my makeup to take away any kind of powdery looks, because obviously I've just put a lot of powder on my face, and this just helps everything to look a little bit more like skin. It also just adds even more dewiness and glowiness to my face. I recently started using the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara, just the original one, and I really like this. It's the first mascara I've tried in a while that I feel like actually does something for my lashes and doesn't irritate my eyes. Now all we've got left to do is lips. I'm going to do a nude lip, but you can literally pair this eye look and this face makeup with seriously anything. I wore this look all weekend when I was in Toronto, and as you saw, I wore it with like orange lips and like dark purple lips. It will seriously go with anything. So what I'm starting off with, typically I would line my lips with my NYX Nude Pink Lip Liner. That's like my favorite, but it is currently missing in action, so I am taking the Tarte Namaste Lip Paint. So I just let that kind of dry down for a few seconds, and then I'm going in over top of it with Bright Meringue. Like I said, usually I would be using a lip liner, but I'm just gonna go in and apply a little bit of this over top of that. I just need something a little bit more creamy than just the Tarte lip paint on its own, so yeah. That's what the lip looks like. And yeah, that is actually the completed look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, let me know if you want to see more videos of me doing my makeup in the future. And if not, let me know what kind of videos you do want to see in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And of course, check me out on all of my other social media platforms. I am at SARI Rihanna on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye guys. I'm so excited. I've always wanted BoxyCharm. So there's a little card in here that says Spring Vibes. Looks like it has the products on the back there.